I teach environmental science and biology, so my class is set up that it's what I call flipped classroom. I put all my notes, everything is online. The students are expected to read through that beforehand, and then we discuss current world issues regarding that particular lesson, whatever we're covering at the time. So right now we're talking about environmental issues and the interrelatedness of ecosystems and humans on this planet and the importance. So that's exactly what we were talking about, and this, I call it a cafe, is tying into exactly the concepts that we're discussing in the textbook and in the classroom. So it's pretty sciencey because climate change is very scientific, as is protecting biodiversity loss.
Every story that they did, whether it was political or not, they would tie it back to Trump, or they would tie it back to politics, and it changes the way we look at it because we want to support our side instead of looking at the problem and finding the solution to it.
When I first moved into this room, there were all desks in a row, which I don't really like. So in past science classrooms that I was in, I took the desks and put them into like a formation where it was like a little circle. Well, I got rid of all the desks and brought in tables so that we're in a position of not being separated, but we're collaborating. So we're talking. That's what I want kids to be doing, is not just reading, and even worse, me talking at them for 50 minutes. We talk together and talk about what's going on in the world. And you saw the cafe is truly powerful to educate.
Like, wouldn't be on the endangered species list for 10 years because of their habitat being on top of the point.
Yep. So if it's economically advantageous,
but they can just ignore that? That's ridiculous.
I like the aspect of this classroom to make people feel more at home, because the very first question I ask students every year is, how many of you like science? Raise your hand. And very few raise their hands, which makes me sad every year. Hopefully they like it by the time they leave my class. So I want it to be more of a Socratic seminar type of thing where we're talking and we're learning about science and why it's so important to learn about science. What are they trying to do?
Well, their goal is for Europe to be the first carbon neutral continent by 2050.
I'm passionate. If I want to say one thing, anybody who knows me knows, especially with science and talking with kids and hopefully helping them to see that they are powerful and they can make a difference in this world. And let's encourage that voice, and let's encourage them to be free thinkers and do great things, and instead of just memorizing a bunch of stuff to take a test.
Well, we had our first annual vocabulary parade here. This is the first time we've done this, and we just thought it was a great idea. We had a thought on doing it, and we just thought this would help promote literacy for Literacy Week.
How do you dream up something like a vocabulary parade? Well, Sunrise did just that, and it was a huge success.
I had the idea, and I took it to my principal, of a vocabulary parade, because we know how very important vocabulary is for our readers. And fourth grade actually came up with their own idea. They have a standard in reading where they learn about figurative language and the meanings of words in stories. And they said, we want to do idioms. So I said, go for it. So the teachers really took the idea and just had a great time with it. The kids loved it.
So the teachers had the choice. They could choose whichever words they wanted. As a leadership team, we thought of the word idea, and we did synonyms for that. So there were some teachers that did some similar words or synonyms in their classroom. We had some teachers who did idioms, like fourth grade, that's what they were studying. So they were able to choose what word and what they wanted for their students.
And just how are the students brought into the idea of using words to form a parade, especially the kindergarten group?
With kindergartners being mostly visual learners at this point in their lives, it's best to show them pictures. We read a couple books about vocabulary parades, and we showed them pictures and gave them ideas. I didn't want to only show them pictures so that they would copy something, but just to get them thinking about things they could wear and things that they could dress up as. And we sent home a letter explaining it and a word list, but said they could choose whatever words they wanted to. They really put in a great effort to be involved with it, and we're very excited all week long getting ready for it.
Ready? Are we ready?
Yeah.
Honor, ready? Eyes are shut, and we're thinking really hard that something awesome is going to happen. Let's say together. I know something awesome is going to happen. I know something awesome is going to happen. Oh, one more time. I know something Something awesome is going to happen. Oh, I feel it.
Late yesterday afternoon, Mrs. Gibbs called our front office to find out how she could check her children out, and told the receptionist that her husband, who had been deployed, was coming for a visit. And we just went from there planning to make a surprise visit. So we had to come up with a way to surprise the girls and get them both in the same room. So Dr. Mayer went to the classroom to read a book. I went and got the first grader out and told her that since it was her sister's birthday and Dr. Mayer was here to read a book, I wanted her to be a part of that. So she was reading the book. Everybody else kind of walked in, and then Dr. Mayer had them close their eyes and wish for something really good. And so Mom and Dad walked in, and then they opened their eyes, and Dad was there.
Did you drive all night to get here?
I did.
The look of shock on my oldest daughter's face was priceless, something I'll never forget, and that just made this whole experience, that more gratifying and special to me, especially because obviously she had no idea I was going to be here, and the excitement and shock on her face is kind of just what melts me as a father.
You surprised?
Even with no harbor and no view, Harborview Elementary is still the home of the Dolphins, and now, thanks to the help from a few select clubs in the villages, even more Dolphins can call Harborview their home.
Last year in the late spring, Mrs. Smith and Mrs. Dobbs were assistant principals, asked if I thought I had any connections to someone who might improve their old mural. It was the original when the school was built over 25 years ago. Then in the fall, there was a nice article in the Daily Sun about this art group that had done some three-dimensional work. And it had the name of the leader and phone number, and I contacted them, and he invited me to come to their Wednesday morning meeting at Paradise Recreational Center. And very quickly, those group members were listening and came into the circle and asking questions, and they were very, very interested. It just has really been an exciting relationship.
Well, we were told that the old one that was here was getting a bit tired, and so we could either come and touch it up on the wall, and I looked at the wall, and it has what I call breeze block, cinder block, and you can see the joins, and I thought it would be better to have panels. And I do scenery for plays, so I thought these are ideal.
In addition to the mural itself, the artists also worked on ideas about how the work of art can be updated over time.
The students are going to be able to name the dolphins, maybe one per class, and then also they can add some sea creatures and some vegetation down at the bottom of the seascape, and then every year we can peel those off and add new ones each year, so it'll be an ever-changing mural, but the students can interact with it and add to it, so I think that's a great idea. We're just thankful for the Rotary and for the Art in Paradise for being part of this project and just helping beautify our school.